you and I usually agree on a lot, but I got to tell you, man, you're crazy. Why do you want to trade George Kittle? I don't get
Injuries.
it.
Injuries.
No, I know, but I
That's the
want to
main
talk.
reason.
I want to talk through it for a second because
Yeah.
the one problem I have, I think, with your point overall, because I think you hit a lot of important things with Kittle. One, his age, his injury history,
Yeah.
the types of injuries he's been having, his level of play to an extent. But I also think that in terms of his value, if he has another season like he had this past year, I don't think his value is going to go down that much. I really don't think so because at this point in his career, with how tight ends have been, I just don't think much has changed for George Kittle in these past few years. It seems like since he had that breakout year, it's been a lot of the same, right? Those injuries here and there, and then he plays some of the season. He fights through injuries. He gets close to 1,000 yards, but he doesn't get the touchdowns that maybe he should. And I think the main thing for me, though, that the real reason I want to keep George Kittle is because I think it'd be totally unfair to Trey Lance to not bring in George Kittle to this offense next season. And that's kind of the main thing for me is that with the 49ers, they're in such a win now mode. They're in such a window. And for me, I always talk about with teams and maximizing what they can do. It's that Super Bowl window. And I understand financially, I think you make some great points in terms of value for George Kittle, but in terms of what the team wants to do in terms of maximizing the Super Bowl window, I think it mightn't be a mistake to trade Kittle because I really don't know who
You're assuming he's going to be healthy.
I am, but I think that's a fair concern. But I also think if he wasn't particularly healthy next season, you could still get value for him next year and beyond. And they do have.
But I don't know. Well, hold on, let's sit with that because I don't know. I think it's going to go down. To me, like Vish was on the show a couple days ago, and he said they could still trade him if he has a down season because Gronkowski still had trade value despite getting hurt. First of all, Rob Gronkowski scored about like 1 million touchdowns in the NFL. Kittle has like 20. And the thing is, starting this year, Kittle's going to take up 7.7% of the cap. The year after is 7.2. The year after that is 7.1. That's really freaking high for a tight end. And especially a tight end who in a year could have the reputation of being injury prone. 3 years in a row, he hasn't hit 1,000 yards. And it's like, he's still a good player, but man, is he expensive.
But they also do have the financial out in his contract after 2023. If you go over to Spot Track, they show you that they can basically get out of his contract in 2 years and only have $4.5 million in dead cap. So in terms of financially,
they can cut him.
They could just straight up. I mean,
but I wouldn't want to do that. I mean, to me, I'd rather trade a guy a year early than cut him 2 years late.
That's fair.
And I know, again, a lot of people will be like, you can't do this to Trey Lance. Well, what if Kittle gets hurt week 1 again, like last year, and it's non-contact? What I think would be really tough would be worse for Trey Lance. This is the way I look at it. I'm not trying to say trade George Kittle for a pick. I'm trying to say trade him for a great player in another position you need who's durable. Because what would really hurt Lance is if Kittle goes down and there's no replacement. It's just $16 million on the bench. That would hurt Lance the most. Is he thinking about it or is he frozen? I think I just shocked him with the best point anyone's ever made. Look, he's frozen in time. He's like, damn. Oh, what's up? How you doing?
Okay, I'm back. There you are. Yeah, no, don't worry. I just have terrible college Wi-Fi.
No, it's all right. I thought I just shocked you with my great points. Anyway, did you hear me?
Not really, actually. No, I kind of missed it.
I forgot what I said. I think you won the argument.
No, I just think.
No, what I said was
okay.
Yes, you would be taking George Kittle away from Lance, but you'd be replacing him with another great player in another position in need. What would hurt Lance the most is for Kittle to get hurt and to have $16 million of dead cap essentially on the bench. That would hurt the most. And I know people would be like, why would you assume that would happen? Why would you assume it won't?
No, I think that's a really fair point. But also, in terms of replacing George Kittle with another tight end, you're not going to find a better run blocker or someone who's going to impact the run game like he does. And quite honestly, Grant, the one thing I feel like you're glossing over the most is Jimmy Garoppolo, as much as he does target George Kittle, I think he's going to be a lot better with Trey Lance. And I know you said yourself,
when healthy.
Yeah. Well, and it's every 49er, man. It's every 40.
I don't know, man. Kittle, you can't say that his injury history is less concerned. I mean, dude, he's having non-contact lower leg injuries.
It's
he was this close to popping his Achilles this year. This freaking close. They had to manage him very closely. I don't know, dude. I'm scared about it. And look,
I don't think you'd be like wrong.
If he gets hurt week
George
1,
Kittle.
everyone's going to have to apologize to me on Twitter, including you.
Oh.
Oh,
you're just gonna go. You're gonna be ranting.
Like, there you go. See that it'll be times like that when not being a fan of the team you cover pays off, because I'm looking at him as just a guy who could be playing for the Rams right now. And a lot of Niner fans are like, I love this guy because he was my guy. Nah, he's just a guy who's about to be 29. I don't know.
All right.
I just hope he makes it through the whole season if he plays, because Lance needs him. This team needs him. They can't afford
it's
all
so
that money
dependent on his health, man. And you're totally right about that. And I think that concern is like something like fans like what can you do about that? Like ultimately, Kittle's injury history is what it is the last few years.
People didn't want to hear about it when the Niners traded for D Ford. I mean, mostly fans don't want to hear that there's an injury history, and they want to say.
But to be fair, with guys like D Ford, Javon Kinlaw, those are situations where the 49ers should have known ahead of time. Those were situations where they actually made the mistakes. But
in fairness to the Niners, Kittle wasn't having non-contact leg injuries when they gave him this contract.
He wasn't.
This is new.
You're right.
And what's crazy about it too is that Kittle, first of all, he broke his foot last year, and he comes back into training camp this year way lighter. He's not as good of a run blocker as he used to be. Watch the film. So he comes in way lighter, and he's like, well, yeah, I got to make some adjustments so these non-contact lower body injuries don't keep happening. Week 1, it happened again. So he's got to find that adjustment, whatever it is. And there may not be an adjustment. This might be just called getting old. George, I'm a little older than you. I know what it's like. It might be called getting old.
Grant, he does have some advantages pointing his way, though, that if they do make the switch to Trey Lance, because he's not going to be getting hit at the same rate over the middle. He's gonna be getting split out wide more. I just think, like, I can't argue with you.
I hope he proves me wrong.
But I hope he's a monster
too. He's a monster, and Trey really could use that trio as opposed to 2.
Oh my God!
What I'm afraid is that George Kittle is becoming a mirage. That's what I'm afraid of, and that what we're thinking about is 2019.
But also, Grant, I think you can point to several times this year in games where Kittle's wide open.
He had flashes this year, and I can't get over the fact that he was nowhere in the playoffs. But maybe Brian Fleury will make sure that doesn't happen again.
Oh man,
this whole George Kittle thing has been a lot of fun. Every time I post a video of George Kittle on YouTube, I lose like 40 subscribers. Like, people are super duper mad. So don't be. The only way I could post this as a video and not lose hella subscribers is why Grant Cohn is wrong about trading George Kittle. I think that might actually get maybe I'll do that. I think I'll do that.
You should.
Got me, man. Thanks.
And leave this little clip in here at the end, just so.
Yeah, I still say they should trade Hey, good stuff, man.
Oh, hey, real quick though, Grant. Man,
yes.
I think they're gonna cut Jimmy. Like real talk. Like, I think they're gonna cut Jimmy.
And I think Jimmy forced the issue with this.
He did.
He did.
Well, because first of all, the shoulder injury, I mean, I don't think it greatly affects any his value overall. But one thing I hung on to with that whole Adam Schefter tweet from yesterday was he specifically said Garoppolo will get moved within the next month. For the teams trading for Garoppolo, they have no incentive to trade for him by the end of March. In fact, they can wait this thing out until like June and then decide to do it. The team who really needs to move on from Jimmy Garoppolo is the 49ers. And they're the reason why this is a timely issue. It's because the new league year starts in 14 days. And yeah, they can get under the cap. Like you mentioned, they can get under the cap. They can do restructure.
They're over the cap right now, right?
But they're $4 million over the cap.
They're over the cap.
And if they want to spend money in free agency, you got to get rid of Garoppolo before then. So like,
if you want to keep Blake and Tomlinson, you got to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. Otherwise, he's gone.
Not even keep Blake and Tomlinson, just bring in replacements. Right? They have like 28 players who are going to be free agents. They only have 30-something players on their current 53-man roster right now, and they're already $4 million over the cap. I think they're going to cut him, man. I think they're going to cut him.
I think so too. Ben, I got to take more callers, but you killed it, man. Thanks for setting me straight.
Yeah, of course.
Later.